There's been a management shakeup at Husky Energy.
Husky Energy.
Husky Energy.
Husky Energy. Husky Energy.
Husky Energy.
The offshore operator that failed to respond appropriately to emergency protocols last year.
Good morning, everyone, and today this video is going to examine the Husky Energy Sea Rose suspension that occurred back in January of 2018. The Sea Rose is Husky Energy's largest oil-producing platform located off the coast of St. John's, Newfoundland.
The Sea Rose did not follow safety regulations last year when it was nearly struck by an iceberg.
They followed the ice management plan to a degree up until the critical moment when they should have disconnected, and that reflected a failure of integrating the ice management plan into their own emergency response plan.
Because Husky Energy failed to follow their ice management plan, they lost trust with the CNLOPB. The CNLOPB is the governing board for all petroleum operators in Newfoundland and Labrador. The board moved that Husky Energy suspend operations immediately until they could regain confidence that Husky could operate in a safe manner once again.
To identify the cause of the crisis, as well as Husky's responses and how their reputation was affected, we coded and categorized keywords in select media articles. Through the categorization of keywords and phrases, we were able to narrow down what happened and how Husky reacted to the Sea Rose shutdown. Husky Energy confirmed the decision to disobey their safety plan was made consciously. Once the information became public, they successfully portrayed their willingness to correct their mistake. Husky CEO Rob Peabody was the primary spokesperson for their crisis. Husky's key messaging, voiced by him, was consistent across all media coverage. They demonstrated an apologetic tone and showed that they were using this as a teachable moment for the company. According to the 2018 annual report from Husky, their gross revenues were up from $22.5 billion in 2018 compared to $18.9 billion in 2017. The company saw a similar increase in net cash flow, net earnings, and share prices went up as well. They continue to be successful, advancing on their 5-year plan and additional projects across Canada. Through analysis, we identified several objectives that Husky attempted to achieve during the time of the crisis. 1. Maintain reputation. 2. Regain trust of the CNLOPB. And 3. Create a new operation strategy. 4. Maintain trust and reputation with their publics.
Husky effectively implemented aspects of Don W. Stack's principles of communications, mainly those focused on employee communication and learning. Husky met with employees at both their onshore and offshore locations to ensure full understanding of the changes that had been made to the company's iceberg management plan, as well as emphasize the importance that the procedures must be followed to a T. These sessions gave employees the opportunity to ask questions and learn about the company's next steps to move forward. Husky showed remarkable consideration for their internal networks in keeping them informed and being transparent about the crisis. It is unknown what measures were taken by Husky to evaluate the effectiveness of their communication outside of media monitoring that was done internally. We found no evidence that Husky made a clear effort to improve their external communications during the days of the suspension. They utilized traditional forms of media, including news releases and media interviews, to communicate their key messages, but failed to take advantage of social media. Although it can be assumed that this was a strategic decision made in hopes of containing and minimizing the crisis, it allowed media to help shape the public's perception of the company.
Now, the body that regulates offshore oil says the company has learned its lesson.
Today, the CNLOPB says the company has learned from the potentially catastrophic event.
Based on our research, we can conclude that Husky's reputation was not greatly impacted by the way they handled and responded to the Sea Rose shutdown. We believe that this was due to their strong, clear, and consistent response. The company maintained the reputation it worked hard to get, and they were able to successfully regain the trust of the regulating authority in a relatively short time. The company has since made many changes internally and externally. Internal operations became more safety-focused, and Husky now participates in practice crisis management exercises on a quarterly basis, as well as an ongoing review of their safety plans. Husky also created a Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram account, which we recommend they regularly keep updated going forward. Although from a public perspective, Husky's response can be seen as not ideal, their approach can be looked at as strategic by other organizations, resulting in minimal impact to their reputation and operations.